We live in a time where our foods are heavily processed, and many questionable ingredients are things we as a consumer need to be aware of and look out for. I used to be one of those consumers that believed if the food was approved for consumption by the Food, Drug, and Administration, better known as the FDA, then it must be safe to eat. However, that is not always the case.
Food and Drug Administration. It's an agency whose mission includes protecting all of us from bad food.
But does the FDA suffer from a lack of transparency? Our investigative reporter Luke Moretti tells us the agency said no to an interview and would only respond to questions in writing.
Why would a U.S. government agency whose mission it is to keep the public safe refuse to answer questions?
It's just another way to say that the people are ignorant and don't want to have the information.
We're talking about the Food and Drug Administration. It's an agency with a $4.5 billion budget that you and other taxpayers help fund. An agency whose job it is to protect public health on many different fronts, not the least of which involves the food you eat.
American Academy of Pediatrics is calling for stronger federal regulations when it comes to more than 10,000 FDA-approved chemicals added to food and food packaging.
This is a huge statement by the nation's pediatricians saying, look, our food safety system is failing to protect the health of our children.
Those food additives mentioned include brominated vegetable oil, potassium, bromate, and red dye number 3. Some of these substances are also known to be harmful to a child's development. OSF healthcare nurse practitioner has worked in the medical field for over 20 years and says these substances can even lead to cancer being developed later in a person's adult life.
In this video, we will expose toxic ingredients that for some reason, despite studies showing that it can be harmful for us to consume, still has been approved by the FDA. I highly recommend you stick around to the end of this video because you may be feeding your kids and those you care about these ingredients. But before we go any further, please make sure to like and subscribe to this video and also share this with someone you care about. Okay, let's get right to it. Number 1. Titanium dioxide. This is one of those toxic ingredients that you will find in your beloved candy, Skittles. As a kid, I used to eat Skittles by the boatload and thought it was only bad for the teeth, but only until recently did I discover how bad it really is for your health overall.
Popular foods we eat, as well as cosmetic and drug products that we use, contain a chemical that's been banned in other countries.
Yeah, it's called titanium dioxide. And tonight, consumer investigator Steve Spracer joins us now, getting some answers about this. Does it have an effect on our bodies, and if we should really be worried about this here in the U.S.?
This is titanium dioxide, used in food to whiten or enhance its color.
Look at some gum. You see that it's bright white, and so it's used to have that bright appearance. It also is used to make colors pop.
It's also used in sunscreens because of its reflective property.
You're not getting that UV that would cause a sunburn.
Recently, a California man filed this class action lawsuit against Mars Candy, the makers of Skittles, claiming the use of titanium dioxide makes them unfit for human consumption. Mars says, while we do not comment on pending litigation, our use of titanium dioxide complies with FDA regulations.
In 2021, findings by the European Food Safety Authority, or the EFSA, titanium dioxide is a carcinogen that builds up in the body, disrupts DNA strands, and can cause chromosome damage.
The plaintiff claims the colorful confection contains unsafe levels of titanium dioxide based on findings by the European Food Safety Authority and a subsequent ban by the European Commission. This led to viral headlines like these that suggest people could damage their organs by eating the candy.
Titanium dioxide is a color additive used in food, as well as in products like sunscreen or foundation.
So what we added here was probably like less than 0.1%, and the effect is very noticeable.
Titanium dioxide was banned in the EU after scientists could not rule out genotoxicity concerns, but it is still approved by the FDA for use in food with limited quantities.
Now get ready for this. Food companies are required to list the toxic ingredients on the food labels, but it may show only as color added or artificial coloring, according to this article by EWG.org. It's been banned from Europe and Japan, but the FDA still allows it for us here to consume. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
One of the reasons why potentially harmful food additives are legal in the U.S. is that the Food and Drug Administration does not review most food additives for safety, even when there are new studies showing the health risks of those additives. Under FDA regulations, Packaged food manufacturers are even allowed to certify their own ingredients as safe without notifying the government or the public. That means many food additives that could be risky for humans to consume have basically never been meaningfully reviewed by the FDA.
Number 2. Red dye 40, yellow 5 and 6. Your friendly looking colorful artificial food dyes that is found in many of our foods such as pastries, cookies, cereals, candies, sodas, protein powders, soft drinks may not be so friendly once you realize the harm it can do when it's consumed. For instance, red dye 40 has been linked to ADHD and behavioral changes in children. Studies have shown that food dyes may also cause cancer, has been banned in other countries, but yet our FDA still allows it to be in our food.
Food additives that you should be looking out for.
It has been shown to not only in cosmetics starting in the 90s show cancer-causing effects, but it also causes hyperactivity, especially in children, restlessness, and all the things that cause ADHD.
Dr. Sarah Mathis says red dye should be banned. It's in numerous popular snacks, cereals, and drinks. She says the FDA determined over 30 years ago it was potentially harmful, but it has remained on store shelves since.
What the problem is they did all these studies found in rats that it caused an increased risk of thyroid cancer, and at that time they did not approve it by the FDA for cosmetics and topical use. However, it had already been pushed to be used in food and be able to be ingested, so it's just something that no one had really pushed until now.
To list a food that has these artificial dyes, Doritos have all 3 dyes listed on the ingredients, as you can see on the website.
In the journal Pediatrics shows, among other things, the harmful effects of food coloring, which has increased 5-fold in American food products over the past 6 decades.
Artificial dyes can be found in labelings under such as FD&C, red number 40, or yellow 5 or yellow 6 as just a few examples. Here are other names you can go by according to this list from verywellhelp.com. Next time you pick up these colorful treats, check to see if they are lurking in the ingredient. Number 3. Phthalates. According to this article by earthjustice.org, in May of 2022, the FDA continues to allow the ongoing use of phthalates to be used in food packaging and the production process, even after health advocates have asked the FDA to reconsider due to major health concern it poses. Hormonal and reproductive system deficiencies, diabetes, and breast cancer are just few of those concerns. Phthalates are a group of chemicals that are used to make plastics more durable, according to the CDC website. People are exposed to phthalates by consuming foods and drinks that have been in contact with, for instance, food packaged in plastic that contain the harmful chemicals. The highest level of phthalates were found to be in fast foods, high-fat dairy, fatty meats and chicken, and cooking oils.
Whether it's fruits and vegetables or meat and poultry, a lot of our food, even very natural food, it seems, contains plastic.
And outside of the grocery aisles, fast food may be even worse. WBZ's Christina Rex shows us a new study that lays out the risks and what to avoid.
Dr. Lariah Edwards is the lead researcher of the study that analyzed fast food, finding phthalates and other plasticizers leaching into the food we eat. The chemicals are used to make plastic soft for food packaging, processing equipment, and handling gloves.
They are banned in toys, but they're not regulated in food contact materials or in cosmetics. So from our study, we're seeing that we found these chemicals in our foods, and that's a concern.
The study builds on previous research that found people who reported eating more fast food had higher levels of phthalates in their systems.
According to this article by NewYorkCityFoodPolicy.org, researchers at the George Washington University conducted a research in October of 2021 that found common fast foods such as chicken nuggets, French fries, hamburgers, and pizza to contain detectable amounts of phthalates. Think about that the next time you order through your fast food drive-thru.
Nonprofit consumer organization tested 85 different food products for the plastics known as phthalates, and the results were concerning.
Of the 85 different products that we tested, only one had 0 phthalates in them.
The so-called heart-healthy Cheerios from General Mills had nearly 11,000 nanograms of phthalates per serving. However, it was far from the worst offender. Many fast foods wore that crown. Burger King's Whopper with cheese had more than 20,000 nanograms, and Wendy's crispy chicken nuggets had nearly 34,000 nanograms per serving.
Number 4. Arsenic and other heavy metals in baby food. Parents of young babies might want to pay extra attention to this one. According to this article from Consumer Reports from February of 2022, Two well-known brands of infant rice cereal, Gerber and Earth brands, lowered levels of arsenic in their products after being under fire from consumer groups and lawmakers, but the amount is still higher than what is recommended as per experts. That is not all. Prior to this, Consumer Reports in October of 2021 calls out more baby food companies to stop sales of infant rice cereal due to government test results of higher level of arsenic. Arsenic and other heavy metals can accumulate in the body and may be especially dangerous for young children and babies.
Of health effects that we attribute to arsenic has grown over time.
Dr. Graziano's lab at Columbia University studied arsenic in water and exposure during pregnancy. He found high levels can be particularly problematic for newborns.
We've learned that arsenic can alter the DNA. It may influence the health outcomes later in life.
The FDA is looking into possible long-term health risks, but has not said when it plans to release that assessment.
Increased exposure have been linked to ADHD, behavioral problems, decreased IQ, and the risk for skin and bladder cancer.
And we have some important news about baby food. 5 years after Consumer Reports found toxic metals like lead and arsenic in more than 30 baby foods, researchers at the organization say the overall risk has barely changed. Several products actually contain the same or even higher levels now than they did 5 years ago, including Beech Nut Naturals sweet potato and Gerber chicken and rice and turkey and rice dinners, my favorite.
This is probably something you want to be aware of the next time you feed your baby rice cereal. Number 5, potassium bromate. Next time you're shopping for bread, I want you to do a little shopping homework assignment, not for me, but for yourself. Check the label to see if you see potassium bromate lurking somewhere in the long list of ingredients that is used to make this loaf of bread. Potassium bromate is a key ingredient found in American bread and is added to the flour of many other packaged baked goods. This toxic chemical is used to help make dough rise higher, but has also been identified as a possible human carcinogen.
U.S. food regulations have left American consumers exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries. CBS's Holly Williams goes in depth to show us how some of these ingredients may be linked to cancer and other health-related issues.
From baguettes to focaccia, Europe is famous for its bread, but one ingredient is missing. Potassium bromate is a suspected carcinogen that's banned for human consumption in Europe as well as China and India, but legal in the US, where it's used by some food makers to strengthen dough and estimated to be present in over 100 products.
Such a risk it carries that the European Union, Brazil, Canada, and even China has banned the use of potassium bromate in their foods and baked goods, but it's still legal in the US. So tell me why the FDA hasn't reviewed it since 1973.
Some additives were reviewed in a cursory way many years ago when manufacturers began using them, but haven't been reevaluated since then with the newest science in mind. The European Union has banned various additives that are used in US food products, such as potassium bromate, a carcinogenic chemical added to bread, and brominated vegetable oil, a flavor stabilizer used in beverages that can harm the nervous system.
It may be toxic to human consumers, that it may even either initiate or promote the development of tumours.
Professor Eric Millstone is an expert on food additives and told us European countries take a much more cautious approach to food safety.
Number 6, brominated vegetable oil, or BVO for short. We covered this one in our channel in the past video, so make sure to watch it for more details. It is considered so toxic that Europe and Japan has banned this from their shores, but it's still allowed in the US by the FDA.
Food and Drug Administration is proposing a ban on an ingredient found in some citrus-flavored sodas and sports drinks. And here's why. Studies on animals have shown that brominated vegetable oil, or BVO, might have adverse effects on humans. BVO is used in a small amount to keep citrus flavoring from separating and then floating to the top of beverages.
FDA is looking to ban brominated vegetable oil, or BVO, and it's found in dozens of citrus-flavored sodas and drinks. But the agency says that additive is no longer considered safe. Listen up, Coke, Pepsi, other major brands, they've long stopped using BVO, but it is still prevalent in several popular drinks on the shelves today.
BVO is found in many sodas and drinks with citrus flavor are most likely to contain BVO. This toxic chemical is used to bond a soft drink by keeping the flavors from separating, but is also used in flame retardant materials as well. Gatorade in the past has used BVO for their drinks, but after getting much petitioning, PepsiCo, the company that owns Gatorade, has since removed the BVO from all their drinks. However, it's still not made illegal for use in the US as a whole. Next time you buy a soft drink, check the label to see if it has BVO.
Brominated vegetable oil, or BVO, is an additive found in fruity flavored drinks and sodas. According to the FDA, the ingredient is no longer considered safe. That's because a new study done on animals showed it was toxic to their thyroid gland, and they're worried the same could happen in humans. So which drinks have BVO? It's most commonly found in smaller grocery store brands like Food Lion, Great Value, and Sundrop Citrus Soda.
Number 7. Sodium nitrate.
When you pay good money for a ham, you want it to be dependable. But only Hormel Cure 81 hams are inspected and numbered individually, dependably lean, tender, and flavorful. Hormel Cure 81 ham. Dependability worth paying for.
You might want to think twice before you request extra meat for that ham sandwich you're ordering at your local deli. That is because ham and other cold cuts, sausage, hot dogs, bacon, beef jerky, and other cured meats that contain sodium nitrate, which was identified as a Group 1 human carcinogen by the World Health Organization, or WHO for short. Being classified as Group 1 means that there is enough scientific evidence that processed meats can cause cancer. This preservative has been linked to higher rates of heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and an increased risk of Parkinson and Alzheimer's disease. We covered the dangers of consuming processed meats more in depth on this video, so make sure to watch it to increase your knowledge.
Nitrates. What effects do nitrates have on our body, and specifically with our pancreas?
Nitrates in general have been shown to cause cellular damage.
Okay.
And this has been linked to many other cancers previously, such as stomach cancer or bladder cancer. So in a way, it's not surprising that there is a risk even with a new cancer identified now, which is pancreatic cancer.
The French have decided not everything is good in ham. In a report released this week, ANSES, the French Agency for Food, Environmental and Occupational Health Safety, is formal. There is a link between nitrites, nitrate and cancer risk. These additives can be found in 75% of commercialized charcuterie, which allow to prevent the development of bacteria and to lengthen shelf life. For several years, associations and scientists have been concerned about the health of consumers.
Ultimately, it's entirely up to you to decide what you're consuming, but remember, awareness is key, and being aware of what you're putting into your body and if it may be toxic or not. Sometimes we cannot rely solely on the FDA if it says certain food additives are safe for consumption, especially if other countries have already banned it. Share this video with someone you care about so that you would like them to be aware as well. Like the video and subscribe for more videos like this. Until then, stay informed and Genius Tomato out.